What's going on, everybody? It is Laser here with a Friday night video, a rare one. It's normally on the weekend. I had some time this Friday to drop my video. Before I begin, I want to give a huge shout out for those of you who have been supporting all of my past videos, remembering to give me that thumbs up. I do see that, and also subscribing and dropping comment sections below my in the YouTube videos. So again, if you have any questions after this video, please drop the in the comment sections below. I will go out of my way to try and answer every single question. Having said that, what you can expect in this video is for me to talk about where I see NIO going into next week. And again, I want to preface this entire video, and let you guys know this is just my opinion. My opinion may be wrong, but I'm going to actually show you what I think, and I'm going to do a little bit of technical analysis, and I'm going to show you where I think things are heading. I'm going to go ahead and start off by talking about, and I mentioned this last week, but I thought it would be worth mentioning again, that if some of you are busy in your day-to-day lives and can't watch the stock on a day-to-day basis, on whatever broker or trading program that you use, try and get something where you're allowed to draw a straight line, just like this, and set an alert and walk away. Use alerts, learn to walk away. Try and not watch the price on a day-to-day, and even intraday. It's going to drive you crazy. Set the alerts, walk away. Once this breaks, things are going to get crazy. That's when you're going to notice when this breaks, you're going to see a huge rush of FinTwit people posting about NIO. There's going to be people posting about it, like all the big people across like Twitter are going to be like, "Oh my God, NIO, it's going to run, it's going to run." And that's because people love playing stocks once they kind of have that breakout. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to give you that analysis and tell you that I think the run's going to be starting very, very soon. If you're getting in at these levels, you're kind of getting in before the breakout. Typically, it's not recommended to try and, time the knife, buy the knife, but oftentimes some of the biggest swings and biggest gains come from, trying to buy the dip, and try and catch that bottom. And I think we're damn close. Two reasons why I think we're right at the bottom. Obviously, we've broken the velocity, and price supports above this trend line. It hasn't gone above the trend line, and it's normal to kind of see the price kind of dance around, but it's building. A big move is building. It's coming real soon here. Now, rewind into last week. I talked about two things that I wanted to see. So just to do a replay, we're going to do a replay into last Friday. Oh, let's see if that works. Does this work? That wasn't last Friday. I messed that up. We'll do that one more time. It's important to just recap last week before we look into this week. There we go. Okay. So last week, if you recall, I talked about two things that I wanted to see for things to start to turn up. Number one, I wanted to see the break of the 200-day moving average. And number two, I wanted to see the break of the trend line on that velocity, which this trend line, by the way, is represented. It's represented by this, where the velocity will then support the price being above this trend line. And let's take a look, shall we? Let's play it. How did it go? And just by a hair, it broke right above that trend line. Do you guys see it? That is exciting. I'm very excited. You guys should be super excited to see that. I am very excited. What does this mean? It means the price, the velocity is going to support a move above And it's just a matter of time before the price is trading above that. Now, there's something even more important as to why that's really important. Okay? Because once the stock moves up, let's say it moves up next week or 2 weeks from now, and it moves into let me clear this out here for just a second. Let's say it moves up to $4.50. Where was it in July? Just the beginning. It was at 450. Let's say it moves back up to 450. Okay, that takes it above the trend line. Some of you might be saying, like, well, big deal. That's where it was last month. I'll tell you why. It's not just a nothing. It is a very big deal. Sorry, some of you guys might say it's no big deal, but it is a very big deal. And let me explain to you why. Since August 3rd, we have not broken above this trend line. We've just been bouncing and breaking below that. And now it's finally time for NIO to break above. There's going to be a move up. Every time you get that break above the 200-day moving average, and sometimes you get that fake out, it's going to curl up. And it's going to be attracted right into that trend line. You could see it. You're going to get the move up. Now, I want to bring your attention to the move here and to the move here and to why it's going to be different here. Notice we got a top here, reach the top, and now it's breaking. Momentum shifted to the bulls. It is time for the bulls. It's time for a run. It's time for a bull run on NIO. Once this breaks, it's going to get very, very, very exciting, and it won't take much. I had one guy ask me on Twitter, hey, could we rule out the possibility of the lows being swept? No, you can't, because of how heavy NIO is for retail presence. There's a lot of retail investors, and you can never rule out the sweep of the lows. It's just, you got to always, and like, maybe you can, because with this velocity break, my confidence has gone skyrocket high that this thing is going to start breaking out really, really soon as Monday. But because it's NIO, and I've been watching NIO for quite some time, I just know how NIO works, and they always like try and find a way to swipe the lows. It might not happen. So let me tell you this. I'm a firm believer of under promise, over deliver. And I'm sure you guys heard that before, but another way of saying it is manage your expectations. And if you expect the unexpected, you cannot be surprised. And so the lows are at 361. And let's just assume this is the way I can see it playing out. I think it's going to play out like two ways, NIO. It comes up, it tests the trend line, it rejects, and you get the sweep of the low until it finally comes up and it rockets. Or it surprises some people and it just goes. It could do that. The only reason I'm entertaining, like, normally I wouldn't entertain the sweep of the lows, but because it's NIO, I am. No big deal. You guys waited. If you guys waited this long, what's another couple of weeks? And, there's going to be some volatility up and coming. There's going to be a really, really big move. And how do I know it's going to be a big move? Using the simple Fibonacci tool. Fibonacci tool lets you measure very important price zones. Okay? And oftentimes, when you get that break in that trend, at the bare minimum, it comes up. And it's going to test that very first fib line. And look at all that like trading that took place here. It would totally, like, if it's going to break up, it would totally make sense and give you that test right at 843. And I would even usually where it mostly ends up is it ends up in the golden pocket. But it's not going to go straight in a straight line. I think you're going to have to. I think eventually it's going to go to 843, 992, 1181 in that golden pocket. It sounds crazy, but it's not crazy. I mean, where was NIO trading just less than a year ago or a year ago? It was trading right in the zone, right in the golden pocket. And you know what the stock is going to look like if it does do that? Let's say it does this, okay? Maybe we get all the way up here. And now you zoom out. Okay. Do you know what you have? A potential cup and handle for me. I mean, I know it's premature to actually say that, but like that's the dream. You get the cup and handle. Like that is the dream move for NIO. Now, can that happen? I mean, a lot of good things need to happen. I think if you're going to want to see something like that, you definitely are going to want to see like a really big move from Hang Seng, and you definitely want to see some really big moves from NIO. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. This is like super big picture. Like, if it can do something like that, sure, why not? But big picture here. I think what's going to happen here. Oh, and I shared this in my last video. How could I forget? Okay. And if you guys remember the rally that took place last summer, where did it go? Right into this trend line. Where's this trend line take you if you're going to get a rally? Like around right around that first fib line, which is crazy. Just crazy. And if we're getting ahead of ourselves and talking about like if this can break, which it should. I mean, like it should. If it can break that, you can see a monstrous move. $27, $34, $44. And you might be wondering why institutions would want to try and shake you out. Yeah, I mean, that's a 10-bagger right there. Does that make sense? Yeah, that'd be an easy 10-bagger. I wouldn't call it easy, though. And that's the dream, if it can actually do that, right? But for now, we cross that bridge when we get there. We're not quite there. It needs to see if we can break above this, which from what I can see from a velocity standpoint of view, it can. Now, here's my biggest concern. You got earnings kind of coming up. That's going to be, I'm not sure if it was officially announced. That's going to be September. But you also have this low here that it hasn't swept the low. Barely. It didn't sweep the lows. And from a velocity standpoint of view, typically I do like seeing that bullish divergence form before things tend to run. And before you got like that really big run, you had a bunch of bullish divergences formed. And you can kind of see it, right? You guys can kind of see it's curling, right? It's making those higher lows. The velocity is tag low and boom, boom, boom. So there you go. That's what I saw. Just to recap here, the biggest thing for this week that took place is we did get that velocity break. So expect up. Expect a big move to come very, very soon. It's long overdue. Way overdue. When did we get that? When did NIO get that breakout? April. And it's just been like, I mean, it's technically, it hasn't made a lower low. It's making a higher low, but like, it's been how many days? You guys have waited long enough. NIO Bulls have waited more than long enough, 115 days. It's time for this thing to finally kind of break above and break through and give it that run that it deserves. and once again get back and trading above $8. So it could start as soon as next week because it's NIO. Man, NIO always can surprise you, and because the markets are kind of like a weird spot. Let's see what happens next week. I've had some people who disagree with me, but again, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not giving advice. This is nothing in here is my advice. It's strictly my opinion. Having said all that, I think I've talked about everything that I want to talk about. Normally I do like to do an analysis on the Hang Seng, but there's just not enough time in this video. So I will say this, quickly looking at it, it looks good. It looks pretty good. If you enjoyed my video, once again, don't forget to drop the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to be first to get notifications when the video drops. And yeah, I appreciate you guys' support. Again, big shout out to everybody who is supporting and liking my videos, sharing my videos. You guys don't have to do that. I know you guys don't have to, but I do appreciate that. And once again, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your summer. I'll see you guys next week. Cheers and take care.